+1 ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് എക്സാമിന് ഉപകാരപ്പെടുന്ന എല്ലാ ചാപ്റ്റേഴ്സിൻ്റെയും സമ്മറി നോട്ട്സ് ആണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ ആദ്യമായിട്ടാണ് ഈ ചാനൽ കാണുന്നതെങ്കിൽ സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യുക, വീഡിയോ ഇഷ്ടപ്പെടുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്യുക. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് വീഡിയോയിലേക്ക് വരാം. ഒന്നാമത്തെ ചാപ്റ്റർ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എഴുതിയെടുക്കണമെങ്കിൽ വീഡിയോ പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് എഴുതിയെടുക്കാം, ഞാൻ വായിച്ചു തരാം. ഒന്നാമത്തെ ചാപ്റ്ററാണ് ഹിസ് ഫസ്റ്റ് ഫ്ലൈറ്റ്. His first flight is a story written by Liam O'Flaherty. Liam O'Flaherty was an Irish novelist and a short story writer. It is the story of a young seagull who was afraid to fly. The young seagull lived on a ledge with his family. He thought his wings would not support him to fly. Lack of confidence and courage made him to stay on the ledge. He was left alone on the ledge with nothing to eat. His family, especially mother, gave him confidence to fly. His father, two brothers and a sister were flying around him and supported him. Finally, he flew and all the family members showed their joy by flying with him. Every child needs courage and support in his life. To be successful, we have to be courageous, confident and self-reliant. The story conveys the message that we can't achieve anything without taking risks. Next chapter is Chapter 2, I Will Fly. I Will Fly is a speech delivered by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Dr. Kalam advises us to be confident, self-reliant and unique. He believes that the ignited minds of the youth is the most important resource of a country. He expresses his hope that today's youth need not fear about their future. He inaugurated a program called Shastrayan, which means the propagation of science. The mission of Shastrayan was the preparation of about 12,000 students from different schools to become engineers. Next chapter is I Will Fly. I Will Fly is a speech delivered by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Dr. Kalam advises us to be confident, self-reliant and unique. He believes that the ignited mind of the youth is the most important resources of a country. He expresses his hope that today's youth need not fear about their future. He inaugurated a program called Shastrayan, which means the propagation of science. The mission of Shastrayan was the preparation of about 2,000 students from different schools to be engineers, doctors, scientists and managers. Kalam's inaugural address was on the topic Science Empowers the Nation. A boy from a remote village asked a question to Dr. Kalam. He wanted to become a marine engineer. He asked him how he could achieve his mission. The boy was nervous and didn't have enough confidence to ask questions. The audience was curious to know what reply Kalam would give to this young boy. Kalam appreciated the boy for the question and recited the poem named I Will Fly. Everybody is born with the potential and greatness. Everybody has ideas and dreams. Everybody is blessed with goodness and trust. But in our society, everybody wants us to be like others. Kalam advised the boy to be unique. We need to fight the hardest battle until we attain our goal. Next chapter is Quest for a Theory of Everything. Stephen Hawking was born on 8 January 1942 at Oxford in England. His father was Frank and his mother was Isobel. His early schooling was in St. Albans School. He was a slow learner at this school. His father wanted him to attend Oxford University. In 1959, he joined Oxford and specialized in mathematics and physics. He liked classical music, took part in sports and was famous for his wit. He became popular and accepted by his friends. Then he went to Cambridge for his further studies. There he was contracted with a rare disease called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Meeting Jane Weil was a turning point in his life. She supported him throughout his life. His achievement as a scientist won him the title Second Einstein. He lost his capacity to communicate after an operation and later he used a program called Equalizer for communication. His famous book, A Brief History of Time, was published in 1988. He passed away on 14th March 2018. And next chapter is And Then Gandhi Came. The lesson And Then Gandhi Came is taken from the discovery of India by Jawaharlal Nehru. Nehru describes the uncertain condition in India after the First World War. The First World War had a terrible impact on the Indian people. The Indians were in a state of darkness and they had no one to guide them. And it was at this point that Gandhi came. With Gandhiji's arrival, Indian freedom struggle took a new shape. Gandhiji was a powerful current of fresh air. He was like a beam of light that could pierce the darkness. He was the whirlwind. He exhorted the rich people to stop exploiting the poor people. He wanted to get rid of poverty and misery in India. The essence of his teachings was fearlessness and truth. Gandhi unrooted fear from the minds of people. He guided the people on the way of truth. Gandhiji's twofold actions was resisting foreign rule and fighting against social evils inside the country. Gandhiji had dreamed about India to bring social religious harmony. He wanted to ensure equal rights for women. He dreamed of an India free from drinks and drugs. Under Gandhiji's leadership, India attained freedom from British rule. Gandhiji was a man of strong willpower and self-confidence. Next chapter is The Price of Flowers. The Price of Flowers is a story written by Prabhat Kumar Mukhopadhyay. It is a story of hope and faith, joys and sorrows, expectations and realities. It is an interesting story about a girl named Maggie and her mother Mrs. Clifford who had a poor family background in London. The main character in the story is Maggie. Mr. Gupta was an Indian working in London. One day, Mr. Gupta met Maggie at a restaurant. She was working as a typist in a nearby shop. She was not satisfied with her job because it was mechanical. Maggie believed that India was a country full of tigers, snakes, and fevers. Her brother Frank was a soldier in India and there was no news from him. She wanted to know about her brother. Maggie requested Gupta to look into the crystal ring and say if her brother was whether Frank was alive. Mr. Gupta looked into the ring and told a lie that Frank was alive. The lie helped to save the life of Mrs. Clifford. Mr. Gupta was shocked to learn that Frank had died in the war. Maggie visited Mr. Gupta before he left for India. She gave a shilling to buy flowers and place it on the grave of her brother. Mr. Gupta received the shilling. It gave her joy beyond all price. The price of flowers is the story of miraculous bonds of human relationship cemented in the hope and faith. And the next chapter is chapter 6, The Trip of Leola. The Trip of Leola is about a ride in a hot air balloon. This is a thrilling balloon journey from Paris to Belgium. It tells how interesting the earth looks when viewed from different angles from above the earth. There were 5 men in the balloon. Captain Jovis was their leader. Their journey starts from La Villette in Paris. They carried food, barometer, bits of paper and also sand to balance weight. Many people gathered to witness the takeoff of the balloon. The air balloon was sometimes rising and sometimes descending. They attached the setting sun, rising moon and the rising sun. When barometer showed 2350 meters at height, they began to descend. Finally, Captain Jovis directed to have a favorable landing. Passengers enjoyed the view of Paris city. Passengers thanked Captain Jovis for wonderful experience. The reader almost experiences the same thoughts and feelings of the travelers. It was fantastic journey. And next chapter is chapter 7, the sacred turtles of Kandao. The sacred turtles of Kandao describes a travel experience on the island of Kandao. And it beautifully narrates a strange ritual of turtle calling. We are taken to the village of Namuana. Only maidens wearing black dress perform the ritual. They gather on the beach and sing a strange chant. Giant turtles would rise to the surface hearing this song. If men from neighboring village are present, the turtles won't rise up. There is a legend behind the ritual of the turtle calling. One day, the wife and the daughter of chief of Namuana, Tinaika Boga, and Rodalis went for fishing. Some fishermen from Nebukalevo village came in a canoe and caught them. They did not listen to the request of the two women to set them free. The men, the sea gods were angry. They sent a huge storm and tossed the canoe. The men threw the two women into the sea and the women changed into turtles. The man ran away with fright. The people of Namuana believe that Tinaika Boga and Rodalis live on the bay as two turtles. It is in the memory of the two women that the maidens perform this strange ritual. The next chapter is chapter 8, Disaster and Disaster Management in India. Disasters have become a big challenge for whole humanity. India is highly prone to disasters. There are two types of disasters. They are natural disasters and man-made disasters. Disasters affect both developed and developing countries. Some of the natural disasters are storms, floods, windstorm, earthquakes, and drought. The deadliest disaster is drought. The man-made disaster that India witnessed in the last century was the Bhopal gas tragedy of 1984. India faced disasters like Gujarat earthquakes, Mumbai flood, Chennai flood, tsunami, and flood in Kerala. Death, damage, and destruction are the immediate impacts of disasters. Disasters cause damage to life supporting systems. Rehabilitation is an important part of disaster management. The rescue teams should be equipped with the latest technology. And next chapter 9, the Sarang of Ranaganji. The Sarang of Ranaganji is a story written by A.J. Cronin. The central character of the story is Hassan, a sarang of the ship Ranaganji. Here, the author narrates how the brave deeds and words of Hassan helped to save the lives of many in the ship. The ship Ranaganji started from Liverpool to Calcutta with 1,500 passengers. A.J. Cronin was the doctor in the ship. Hassan, the sarang of the ship, was very ugly with short legs and a large disproportionate head. Miss Job Smith, chief social promoter in the ship, laughed at his ugly appearance. Some of the crew got infected with smallpox. As the doctor of the ship, it was the duty of A.J. Cronin to control the spreading of the disease. He was weighed down by his responsibility. Hassan agreed to take care of the patients. He never expected reward or money. He nursed the patients, risking his own life. He gave medicines in the time and two patients died. Hassan lowered the bodies into the sea, reading aloud the short passage from the Ramayana. His courage, self-control, and faith helped to manage the disaster. He supported the doctor in many ways. He is a symbol of love, care, dedication, and responsibility. Next chapter is chapter 10, Gooseberries. Gooseberries is a short story by famous Russian writer Anton Chekhov. Ivan Ivanich and Nikolai Ivanich are brothers. Ivan is a veterinary surgeon and Nikolai was a clerk in government service. But Nikolai's dream was to buy an estate with gooseberry bushes in it. He resigned from his job. He lived like a beggar and saved money to buy an estate. He even married an ugly widow, took her money and starved her to death. Nikolai fulfills his dream, becomes a landlord and enjoys eating gooseberries. Ivan does not agree to his brother's way of life. For Ivan, happiness means doing good things for others, but Ivan realizes he has not done anything good in his life. It is too late. He has become old. He prays to God to forgive him. Rain stands for the awareness or the realization of or the spiritual awakening in the life of Ivan. Gooseberry stands for the dreams of Nikolai. The lesson explains the idea of happiness that differs from the person to person. Next chapter is chapter 11, Going Out for a Walk. Going Out for a Walk is a personal essay by Max Beerbohm. Beerbohm presents himself as a strong opponent of walking. He finds excuses when his friend invites him for a walk, but at last he is forced to go. Beerbohm's objection to walking is that it stops the brain. Some people think that walking is a noble task. Experience taught him that even the intelligent brains become inactive while walking. Thus, the walk ends in gossip or reading public notices. Beerbohm is not totally against walking. He is of the opinion that walking is good physically if it is done moderately. He will never prefer to go for a walk without a reason. Next chapter is chapter 12, the cyberspace. Cyberspace is an intellectual, legal, and artificial environment similar to real estate. There are differences like parkland, shopping malls, and red light zones. There are areas for information and entertainment. It is an unlimited world of virtual real estate. It is the voluntary destination. There are three main areas: private emails or chats, information and entertainment, real communications. And they make rules instead of following it. It should be moderated to avoid unnecessary discussions and advertisements. It is free from power structures. There is no geographical or gender difference. We have freedom to live it or to love it. Next chapter is chapter 13. Is society dead? New generation gets addicted to iPods, smartphones, other technical devices. These addicts have common traits. They have vacant eyes. They are not social beings. They don't have connection with outer society. They become isolated. They don't respond to social cues. They miss the sound of nature, cry of a baby, songs of birds. They miss the beauty of outer world. Technology makes them isolated beings. The earphones disconnect them from outer world. And next chapter and the final chapter is the conceptual fruit. There, the new technology helps or enables and equips physically challenged and mentally retarded people. Greta's father entertains Greta by creating Greta's house with fruits in her every room. He decorates her room with things of her choice. The story proves that technology provides refreshment, relaxation, sense of achievement, confidence, happiness, satisfaction, and companionship to people like Greta. It is an additional boon to physically and mentally challenged people. And this is the final chapter. I think this video will help you very much. If you like the video, please share to your friends and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.